Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here for another Power Book 3 Raising Kanan review. You guys know this is season 2. This is the next to the last episode, episode 9, Antitrust. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Like, it has literally taken me all day to do this review because I don't know what's going on. Like, let's get into this episode, you guys. And believe it or not, I only have one question at the end of this whole shebang. I really only have one question. The only question I think that is really important. And that is, who's the friend in the fish store outside of Howard Beach? Anybody? Anybody know? Is it Breeze? It's not Breeze, is it? I don't know. I think all of our questions we've asked, all the other questions we have asked in this episode. Listen, before we get into it real good, remember, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, hit that subscription bell. If you want to be notified when I upload, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up on this video. It's engagement, right? And comment down below. Listen, what was going on with this episode? Was it me? Is it me, or is the episode 9 the dud episode? I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like we spent a lot of time doing things that just was irrelevant, right? Like, episode 9 is supposed to be boom, 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 boom. Come on, you guys. Is it me? Put it down below. Listen, off the rip, we spend time with with Jimmy, the dude that shot at Renee and Marvin on last episode. He in the bowling alley with his friends, just hanging out. Now, your clan is at war with another clan. You done took a shot at one of the main clan members of the warring clan, and you just out bowling. I mean, is it me, or do we need to do like some re-education of our gangsters, because they just be making dumb moves? That's just like Marvin being out with Renee, like, and you know that the Italians are after you. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, Lou takes care of Jimmy, kills him right there in front of the bowling alley. Boom, boom, dead. Right? We see where Marvin goes to Miss Renee's funeral. He never did get a chance to give Miss Renee that one-eyed wonder weenie, because she was shot and killed and not him. And I do believe the writers was toying with the idea of whether to kill Marvin off or let him continue on. It just seems like the way this episode was set up, it could have went a lot of different ways, and this is the angle they chose to go with, right? I do think they were toying with the idea of the Marvin character being killed, right? Okay, so we see where Sam, the crackhead who saw Kanan shoot Howard, is getting picked up for stealing down at Habib's convenience store and for public urination, right? And immediately off the rip, because they take a couple of vials out of his pocket and he want them vials, he starts to talk about the fact that he knows things. He knows a couple of things that's going on, and if they give him his vials back, if you just give me one of them vials back, I'll tell you everything I know. Of course, there's all this time where he's of course they're talking down to him and belittling him. He's a crackhead and he's smoking on that, glass penis and woo 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 woo. We just spent so much time there. Just like with the bowling alley, I just was like, Come on, come on. I don't know any. It was necessary for the storyline, I guess, but I don't know any crack. I mean, I don't know any crackhead, but I'm just saying, it just seemed like it was a little bit overdone. It was just a little bit overdone. I mean, he was fiending like that. Um, they told Burke, he says he knows something about your case, and she was like, we already talked to him. He doesn't know anything. He was like, oh no, I be knowing stuff, and I did see somebody. Woo woo woo. So he does give her a little information. She goes and kind of vaguely talks to her captain. She makes it seem like she's working on a cold case. It's very vague. She doesn't say it's Howard's case, and she knows she shouldn't be working on it. Goes back and talks to Sam. Sam is telling her the stuff that he know. I mean, and she's hot on Kanan's trail at this point. Now she doesn't know that he doesn't mention Kanan's name, Sam, but he says that it's the young boy that's always with the other young boy, Famous. And it's so crazy he can't recall Kanan's name, and his mom is a huge drug dealer. But he know Famous. Okay. So, of course, Burke is a dog with a Mickey Fricky bone, right? We see where Famous is rent is due, and he wants to trade studio time with the dude that need the rent to be paid, because that's something that Crown Camacho had worked out. Like, I give you some studio time if you get this young boy some slack on his rent. Like, it's weird. It is weird. It's weird. The guy tells Fame he got 2 days to get that money or get that studio time up, right? I'm like, what kind of apartments is this? It's really not an apartment. It's really just one room. So we see where Rock gets the keys to her house, and she's by herself. She got a bodyguard with her. I mean, she seems like the only one with the bodyguard. It's a bittersweet moment for Rock. It really is. It's not like a bunch of people are there to celebrate her and say what a good job she did. It's just her and the real estate lady, and she get her keys, and she got to lie about her bodyguard being her cousin. It's bittersweet. And so we see where the Italians discuss the whole Rock Marvin situation. They know Jimmy is dead. They upset with the nerve of Rock to move against them the way she done moved against them. Like, how dare she not just kill her brother at our behest, And he says this has to be handled delicately, especially because of who our friend is in the fish store outside of Howard Beach. Who is the friend in the fish store outside of Howard Beach? Huh? Is this finally the introduction of Breeze? Do we know? I don't know. Okay. And at first I thought maybe he might be referencing Cartier, but listen, I don't think so. Could be, but yeah. So he insists that they go and get Unique, because Unique is going to be able to help them figure out what to do with Rock, help them understand Rock's organization in order to take her down from the inside. We see where like I said, Sam has convinced Burke that he knows something. We see where Cartier and Lou are in the studio when Famous comes in begging. Basically, Crown had this agreement with my landlord where he would give him and his girlfriend studio time in order for half off my rent. And so I wanted to know if you could help me out with that, because I'm about to be put out. And then Lou was like, listen, we'll work it out. Like, just give me a minute. Let me think on it. Let me, And so Cartier jumps in, and Cartier says, listen, this is not really a charity studio. It's just a music studio. And Lao Tzu said, you teach a man, you give a man a fish, he eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eat for a lifetime. And of course, Famous is like, Lou, I don't know who this dude is, but what I need you to do is help me with my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then Cartier is like, this not a place for bartering. He was like, Famous was like, no, I'm not trying to barter. I'm just trying to do a little bit of trade. Cartier was like, bartering is trading. Okay, let me tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna need a rod, you're gonna need you some bait, and you're gonna have to learn how to fish for yourself. Ain't no charity here. Toodaloo, scoot along. You know what I'm saying? Underlay. Okay, and Famous is like, Lou. He looking around Cartier. Lou. I'm about to be homeless. You still homeless. Even in that one room, you still homeless, sir. You ain't got a pot nor a window. Huh? A pot nor a window. Anyway, it's a cute moment. Okay. And then Lou asked Cartier, I thought you was supposed to be a silent partner. And Cartier was like, money talks. Right? Money talks, right? I put my money in this, my money gonna talk. Okay. We see where Rock talks with Juke. Okay, and she tells her Marvin told Rock about what Kenya did. And she tells Juke that she's sorry. And then she asks Juke if Kanan told her about what was going on between the two of them, and Juke didn't say. And so Rock was like, that's my Juke. That's my Juke. Juke, you a vault. You take it to your grave with you, baby. You are a vault. Okay? That's why you the most trustworthy one out of anybody. We can tell you anything, and you're not going to tell it. I thought that was a moment. I really did feel like that was a moment. Okay, and I just want to highlight that because over on TSF Entertainment on Thursday we did a little introspective on who Juke is, and I don't remember if we talked about that, but I thought that was a very poignant point that Raquel pointed out, just about how trustworthy Juke is. It's crazy because Juke don't really have nobody that she can trust like that, right? Like her and Marvin is coming around, but at the same time, she don't have nobody that wouldn't turn her up if it was gonna save them, right? Like nobody's returning the favor when it comes to Juke. All right. So we see that was a really good conversation. Rock tells her about the limits that parents will go to protect their children, to provide for their children, and sometimes it's not the best thing, like the legal thing, you know what I'm saying? Off the rip, it don't look like it's a good thing, but you have to remember that the short-term loss is pales in comparison to the long-term gain. And she asked Juke, did she understand? And Juke said, I think so. And she said, good, because I don't understand it myself sometimes. I don't know, it was weird. So we see where Howard's at the mosque and he got Kanan with him. See, Kanan really don't want to be seen with Howard in public. So since Howard is trying to get back in good in Islam, he figures this is the opportunity for him and Kanan to talk in a place where the public eyes aren't there. It's a private setting. And I think the environment was very conducive because they were able to talk and we were able to be a part of that conversation. Every time they have had an in-depth conversation prior to this, we haven't been privy to it. When Kanan went over to see him and Rock saw that Kanan was going to see Howard, we wasn't privy to that conversation. That little bit of conversation they had last episode over toast wasn't nothing, right? Kanan wasn't really trying to talk to them. I don't even think he had read the paperwork at that point either. So, but here's an opportunity for them to really, really talk. And Howard is just open and honest. He was like, listen, I don't know what to say to you. I ain't never did this before. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to, if you got something you want to say to me, then just please just say it. And Kanan was like, okay, listen, I know you my dad. Okay, I know you my dad. I just want to know how long my mama knew that you was my daddy. And so one thing that I loved about this scene and about Howard is that he wasn't gonna drag Rock to Kanan. Even though he knows Kanan has a problem with Rock, he knows that Kanan has moved out. He knows that he's staying over at Fame's. He knows that he's got issues with his mom, especially as it pertains to Howard. He's having those thoughts and feelings about his mother. He doesn't drag Rock to Kanan, right? He tells him, he's like, I don't know really how she knew, what she knew. You're going to have to talk to her about that. And Kanan was like, I can't talk to her about that. And the last thing I can do is even trust her. I don't know, what she might do. I don't know what's the truth. And woo 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 woo. And so Howard was like, listen, cut your mom some slack. He was like, who you talking about? Rock? I know you ain't talking about cutting Rock no slack. This Kanan. He was like, did she cut me slack that night she sent me? And Howard did not want to talk about that night. He said, listen, that night is over. That night is in the past. We're not going to talk about that night ever again. We don't need to be talking about it. We don't need to be bringing that night up. And Kanan thinks it's his way of protecting Rock. He doesn't understand in his 15-year-old mind that that's his way of protecting him. Kanan, stop talking about that night. You dry snitching on your mama at the same time. You really snitching on you. Stop talking about that night. Stop talking about that night, because ain't no court gonna care who sent you to do it. They just know you did it, basically. Okay. And so we see where Burke, like I said, she goes talks to Sam, and she gets the information about the guy who's always with Famous, and then she takes the half truth to get permission to proceed ahead. We also see after the captain tells her to tread lightly with this cold case, he calls IA. It was kind of just off. It was just off. Like, it was just misplaced. It was weird. And so we see where Rock goes ahead and gets Abraham out of jail, gets him off. And then she's talking to Abraham and Tremont outside of the jailhouse. And they're thanking her and they're saying, oh yeah, you got a great lawyer, woo woo woo. And then of course Rock wants Tremont to come on board. Like, I did this for your boy, now come on board. He was like, listen, I can't do nothing while Cartier is still out here. I got to be super super careful with that. And she was like, well, what if I can do something to get rid of you come on board, I'll help you get rid of Cartier. He was like, no, I can't come on board until Cartier has been gotten rid of. Ma'am, I don't know if you know or not, but you're gonna need to handle him, because he is like a ticking time bomb. He's tick tick boom. He's like a mad dog. And so Rock is like, you know what? Let me just handle the whole Cartier situation like I handled the Abraham situation. I was like, girl, I don't know what you're going to get out of this Tremont thing, but it must be big. It's got to be big for you to be moving like you moving. Like, I mean, how big is Tremont's area, right? And is Cartier his only boss? There's got to be more bosses out there, right? It's just crazy she's going hard for Tremont, and he's got to have other lieutenants, doesn't he? I don't know. It's just odd. Like I said, she's gonna get rid of Cartier for Tremont's loyalty. It's weird. And when she walks off, Tremont tells Abraham that her blood may run colder than Cartier's. I was like, ooh, that is not a compliment. We see where Sam gets sprung, and Burke loses it because she's like, no, I still need to talk to him. And Howard is there. She ushers Sam out back and stands outside and talks to him and gives him money and asks him to tell her where he's gonna be at. And he was like, I'm gonna be at this spot, this spot, or this spot. That's where all crackheads are. Work them spots, and if I'm there, you see me, holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to talk right now because he want to save it for when he get locked up again, and he could use that information again, right, to his benefit to get him out. And so Howard kind of sees all of this from afar, and there in turn calls Rock. Okay, it's a crazy situation. All right, so then we see where Juke and Marvin are at lunch. Okay, this is after Renee's funeral, and Marvin was very emotional at Renee's funeral, right? And he's talking to Juke, and he's kind of sad, and she asks about the funeral. Did you cry? And he was like, I don't know, I had shades on. It's very funny. It's very funny. I just think that Marvin is so much better when he's eating. Like, if you go back to that conversation that he had with Unique, and he was trying to light that cigarette, and he was so off his square and just nervous, he wasn't eating, right? You know, when he's eating, he's a little bit more quick with it, right? Like, food is his muse. But she consoles him a little bit, and she tells him that she's seen him cry before. There's nothing wrong with crying, and you know, it's okay to cry. And he tells her that he's a ducked up individual, and he's done some ducked up stuff, and all he can do is hope and pray that he can balance it out by doing some good and by changing his way, you know, because he messed up. He said, I'm sorry for what I did to you, for the things I didn't do that you needed me to do for you. I'm sorry for that. And you know, it's turning into like this fevered pitch moment where it almost feels like he's gonna break down again. But Jude jumps in and says, listen, you're no good to me or nobody else until you take care of yourself. You can't take care of me. You can't take care of other people until you see about you, right? Like, you got to get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? You got to start doing things a little bit better for yourself before you can do it for anybody else. And he was like, yeah, word, basically. So then we see where Rock and Cartier are at his penthouse, and he wants to walk up and grab her and kiss her and all of that. Like, them couple of little dinners mean we go together. And she was like, ho, ho, ho. And he was like, man, you a hard nut to crack. She was like, it's not about cracking the nut. It's about me being ready. You know what I'm saying? He said, listen, I want to buy into your organization. She was like, all this for some pussy? He was like, it's about business too. You know, you got to diversify. I thought you didn't want to be in New York. I thought New York was oversaturated. He was like, nah, really what it's about is supply and demand and woo and pay on the back end, and I can't increase my some little you know what I'm saying, double talk type crap about the money. And it Rock is like, okay. He's like, yeah, just think about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can increase your footing with your contact, you know, together. And she was like, okay, we gonna see. So we see where Sal talks with Unique, okay, about helping against Rock. He really wants to know what's going on in Rock's organization. And Unique, again, one of my favorite scenes from him is he tells him, listen, I ain't no fan of Marvin Thomas. Okay, I ain't no fan of Marvin Thomas, but he hired your mans for a job, and your son's a duck up. And if your son wasn't a duck up, it wouldn't have been a problem. He's like, yeah, but he didn't go through me. All due respect, Sal, your son didn't go through you, right? Your son was supposed to come and tell you, this is the job that I've been hired for. Will you sanction it, right? And he didn't do that. That's not Marvin's fault. That's not Rock's fault. Listen, somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to pay. I need you to tell me everything you know about Rock's business. And Unique tells him, listen, I'm not doing that. I'm not a snitch. Me telling you what's going on with Rock makes me a snitch, and I don't do that. Sal said, well, nobody will know. Unique said, I'll know. I'll know. Okay. Sal said, this is very disappointing to me. Someone will show you to your car. Yeah. Yeah, you are teacher's pet until you not no more. Unique. You get what I'm saying? You stand up for yourself, for your own principles, and you have your own standards. That don't mean nothing to people when they want you to break them standards to do for them, right? It's a poignant moment for Unique. It's an eye opener for Unique, and also I think it shows Unique that he's probably going to have to go back past Rock, and either they're going to have to build an alliance together against the Italians, or he's going to have to get somewhere and lay real low so that he doesn't get any blowback from what's going on between the Italians and Rock. But I do agree with Rock. This ain't the mob. This is not the mob at all. These are low-level bench warmers. I do agree with Rock about that. We see where Famous and Kanan having pizza, and Freddie come in. Freddie is the dude that robbed them. That Kanan went around and got that gun from Palomar and then pistol whipped the dude. And the minute he see Kanan's like, yeah, you want some more? And he is like, nah. And then Famous makes a comment about Freddie is grimy, but he always got money. And then Kanan's like, you don't want to do the grimy stuff that Freddie is doing to get money. And the idea comes to Famous, okay? And so what he does, then he starts thinking about how he can get some of this grimy money from Freddie. We see Burke in the bed with her twin talking about Howard. It was so awkward. Like their post-coitus, literally she's in the bed with a woman that looks just like her. It's like she's in the bed with a mirror. Like, it's creepy. It's weird. And she talking about Howard. Really? It was so odd. And the girlfriend brought it up. She was like, let it go, please. Can we talk about something other than Howard? It was just a weird moment, but it just shows how in deep Burke is in this situation. We see where Marvin and Rock and Lou all meeting up for an all hands meeting. Marvin thanks Lou for taking care of Jimmy. Rock lets him know she needs all hands on deck. This means Lou, we bringing people from over here, over there, over yonder. You know what I'm saying? East Bumble, West Hell, everybody coming in for this war. And Lou is like, well, all due respect, it don't matter how many people you bring in, they got more. I agree with Rock when she said, this ain't no mob. This ain't no mob. This ain't no mob. Huh? This ain't Tony Soprano and his boys. Not at all. So, we see where they agree that they may not be able to take the Italians out, but they can definitely make them bleed and think twice about leaning against their crew. So, we see where Rock puts Marvin on Sam because Howard is called. Now, we have not heard that conversation, but Howard is called and said we need somebody to take care of Sam because Burke is getting information from Sam about that night. So she tells Marvin, I need Sam taken out. And I don't think Marvin wants to do it because he's trying to be a different Marvin now, especially in the wake of Miss Renee's death. All right. It's a mistake. Although this isn't for me one of Marvin's normal muck ups. This is him trying to make amends in within a lifestyle that there are no amends. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to get better and do better and be better, you're going to have to get out of this life altogether. You're not going to be able to be a good-hearted drug dealer. You just not, you know. But Marvin going to learn. We see where Famous goes and begs Corinne for Palomar's gun and just basically tells her, like, I don't know why she would listen to somebody who sleeping on the floor, smell like old clothes and sour milk, and he tell you your mama ain't ish, you already knew that already. Your mama ain't ish, why you protecting her anyway? Like, I'm not finna go steal from my mama for you. You know what I'm saying? I would go and steal something from my mama, for a greater good, but you ain't it. You know what I mean? I just don't understand how women let dudes who ain't got a pot or a window talk them into something. It's bizarre to me. Because if he knocked on my door, I'd be like, who is it? And as soon as he said famous, I'd be like, nope. I even opened the door. Are you crazy? I might have peeped out the hole and saw it was him and been like, child, bye. Anywho, he talks her into getting her mama's gun and giving it to him. Big mistake. We see where Nicole dad done call Juke over to say he want to talk about Nicole. Of course, that's her number one conversation. She wants to talk about Nicole, but she finds out that her father is there with a person from IA. I guess this who the captain called, and he's got it on good authority that Burke was a bad influence on her and Nicole and was one of the ones that gave Nicole the drugs. And Juke is like, what is you talking about? Yeah, don't worry about it, Juke. Mr. Bingham says this cop Burke had led you astray and led Nicole astray. It's not your fault. Just tell this guy what you know. And the guy's like, can you tell me what you know? This is off the record. I'm gonna hear what you have to say, and if it's important, then I'll govern myself accordingly. And Juke was like, listen, I don't snitch, okay? And I definitely don't snitch about cops to cops. And she gets up and she walks out, and Mr. Bingham is like, wait a minute. And the IA guy tells Bingham, listen, I don't know where you got this information from because you won't tell me. And Mr. Bingham is like, listen, he swore me to confidentiality. Like, these are white people's things, right? Like, he swore me to confidentiality, right? Like, this is about the death of your daughter. I wouldn't even play no games with nobody. I'll be like, get Burke, get Howard, get everybody up in here. Let's figure out what went on with my child. Okay, y'all can kill yourselves in the alleyway. I don't care. I just want to know what went on with my baby. Okay, and y'all calling another minor in to discuss it is stupid on the face of it. Dumb. Okay, and so that was such an awkward moment. Then we see where Juke and oh no, Famous goes to rob Freddie. Okay, and when he goes to rob Freddie knows who he is. Okay, and Freddie was like, I know you, Famous. And Famous was like, shut up, you about to get wet up. And Freddie shows a gun, and he was like, it's not about to be that. Like, it's not about to be that. I learned my lesson about dudes rolling up on me. Like, that's not about to be that. And Famous was like, I'll shoot you. And he goes to pull the gun, Freddie does, and Famous closes his eyes and shoots. And then Freddie falls back against the doorframe of his own apartment, and then he looks at him like, you really shot me. He goes to continue to pull the gun, and Famous shoots him like another 4 times. Runs off. Now, they've called Famous's name several times during this exchange. Freddie did. And so when the apartment across the way opened the door, I was like, man, another witness. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Like, you kill Bob, John sees, now you got to kill John. You kill John and Chuck sees, now you got to kill Chuck. You kill Chuck and Lisa sees, and now you got to kill Lisa. Like, it's you know what I'm saying? It just never stops. That's why they say you lie, you steal, you kill, you know what I'm saying? You lie, you cheat, you steal, you kill, right? Okay, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It begets the next situation. So somebody's gonna squeal on Famous. Somebody gonna, I don't know. I feel like Famous is gonna be our fodder for this season. You know, we've got several bits, but I think this is gonna be Famous's last season. But let's just see, okay? So we see where like I said, Juke said she wasn't gonna snitch. Marvin consequently goes and puts Sam on a bus. He goes, pick Sam up, tells Sam to gather his things. He's gonna give him a handful of crack, okay, and a pocket full of money, and puts him on the bus and says, people want you dead. I'm putting you on this bus to save your life, right? Go away, take this money. I know you're not supposed to get crackheads a whole handful of money and everything, but go and change your life. If you come back here, I'm gonna have to kill you. And Sam was like, nah, I promise you, I'm gonna change my life. And I was just like, 101. It's crackhead 101. It is literally crackhead 101. Like, you don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth, especially when they still own the drug like they own the drug, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So of course, Marvin puts him on the bus and he feels like, I did a good deed. Like, this is a step in the direction for me changing my own misdeeds for the better. The bus driver drives to the next street corner and Sam tells him, look at here, ninja, stop this bus, I'm getting off. Gets off the bus and crosses the street. I was just like, what is happening? I mean, we spent so much time on this situation. I just think we could have did it so much better. And we could have had a little bit more elaborate conversation, I think, on some of our more important characters. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below. So finally, we see where Juke talks to Kanan, and she tells Kanan about what happened over at Mr. Bingham's house and how it went. And the fact that she saw Bert talking to Bingham, and he was like, but why would he do that? And she was like, I don't know. And he's your dad, you should know. And he was like, something about whoop 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 about his dad. Well, at least you got a dad. And he was like, yeah, better than what you have or had. And she said, actually, Marvin is doing better now. He's trying to do right by me. And Kanan just breezes past that and it was like, anyway, Rock ain't ish. She still ain't ish. I can't trust her. And whoop whoop whoop. I was like, you giving Kanan the heads up. He don't even take 2 seconds. 2 seconds to talk to you about what's going on with you and your daddy. 2 seconds. Won't even do it, Jude. I could see. Okay, I can definitely see why they fell out. Why they grew apart, all of the things. Okay, so she asked him too. She said, your mom must have been really young when she got with Howard. He said she was 16. And she's like, yeah, that was still pretty young, kind of like you and Palomar. And he was like, nah, that's different because Palomar is a woman and I'm a man, so that's different, right? Like that's completely different than what happened between my mom and my dad. I was like, oh, okay. So we see where, oh yeah, Rock can't make this right. We see where Cartier gets out of his car and he goes into the penthouse, gets on the elevator, smoking a cigar, and 50 Cent is talking in narration, and he was just talking about how you can just get so calm and so complacent with what you have going on. You stop being like self-aware and aware of the fact that it is, you know what I'm saying, you need to keep your head on a swivel, like you operating in a dangerous game. Doors open up to the elevator, and he thought that the elevator was kind of moving kind of slow, but then he was like, I'm in charge, nobody crosses me. Elevator door opens up, and who's standing there but Lou and Rock? When I tell you Rock was sharp, baby, she had that waist cinched. Okay, that tuck was so tight. Ain't no hair being lost at that crime scene, boo. Rock was sharp, okay? Sharp as a scalpel. Razor sharp, okay? Casket sharp. Clean as a Mickey freaking whistle. He says, he looks at the both of them with guns pointed. He said, y'all don't even trust each other. Rock said, we family. He said, duck your family. Duck you and duck your family, and they shoot him. Choo choo choo. He falls back against the door of the elevator, the back of the elevator, and slides down. And then Rock steps in and poof, put one in Cartier's head, dead. And then she walks out and looks at Lou like, you down? And Lou takes another shot to his gut, right? He already dead, but I just want to make sure you know I'm here to sign my name on all of our artwork. And they walk off. That's the end of Cartier. Okay, so even if Cartier is the friend in the fish store outside of Howard Beach, he is no more. He is no more, and therefore not a threat to Sal or anybody else. Okay, but he's got to have partners. He got to have peoples, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? It's crazy. I thought Cartier was going to be more than one season, but apparently not. Okay, so apparently, when you get rid of one fish, a bigger fish comes along, right? Like if Cartier wasn't the great nemesis, then there's got to be a much bigger nemesis to come. And who is that nemesis? Maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's jail. Maybe it's death. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think of this episode. Put it down below, you guys. And until next time, mwah, mwah, mwah. I holla.